Hello again. Long time no see. So in front of me I have Joshua Schmidt and also Benjamin Grainer, and we are ready to get into this with a high roll gentleman who would like to roll first. Okay, Joshua has rolled an 8 and Benjamin has rolled an 8. This could take some time, folks. That is a 7. I think I know where this is going. Oh, an 11. Okay, are you going to go first? Benjamin is going to go first. And with that, we're into our penultimate feature match. So I'm going to hand you guys over to Alberto, to Tom, and to Bassi, who are going to be your amazing commentary trio to take you through this penultimate match here at the European WCQ. Gentlemen, take it away.
Speaking about chatting, of course, we saw your request in chat that you wanted to see how Joshua Schmidt is doing. And as you can see, he's doing quite well as he made his way into the feature match area here, still only having 1 loss. Funnily enough, the first round of the tournament he was defeated, but from there on he did quite well. So what are we expecting from this round, my fellow gentlemen here?
Well, we have quite the matchup. I don't think anyone would have expected either of these decks. I mean, people who are fans of Josh might know that there's a particular archetype that he loves to play quite a lot. And every time some new archetype comes out, he goes, how does this work with the runic cards?
Yeah, it's kind of, we have been brought back to a year and a half, 2 years ago, more or less, because like we have a mirror match.
It's not only going to be runics on the one side, it's going to be runics on both sides flying. Let's see how it turns out. Round number 8 starting here now. There we have them, and as you can see, Joshua Schmidt on the new White Forest deck with, of course, his beloved runic cards alongside it, and Benjamin, for now, only with the runic being visible there, but then Amano Iwato is going to give away quite a bit because that is the strategy he chose for this. And there is a rivalry of the Warlords as well, and of course now Josh seeing that he's up against actual runic cards as well, so this is going to be quite hilarious. Joshua kind of just made the call of sticking to his deck that he also won Bologna with, kinda, because he just replaced the Bestias from back in the day and also Ecclesia and so on with a couple of White Forest cards, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool. Do you think it's an upgrade? I mean, I assume Josh thinks it's an upgrade because, you know...
I think it's an upgrade
he swapped
as well.
them out.
It
but Bestials are super
good.
powerful this weekend. People are including them in decks that they have no business being in, really, just because they're such powerful standalone cards, so...
Yeah, agreed. So Benjamin must feel quite good, though, grabbing that rivalry of the Warlords there, because it does work quite well against Josh's deck, to be fair, if he does not have an answer in form of some of his runic cards, of course. And Benjamin immediately grabbing that card, reading it. Even though they're both playing runics, they certainly don't both play the White Forest cards, and that was very, very clearly the Sylvie of the White Forest right there. And that is going to be met with Skill Drain. The crowd is cheering. There is not only going to be rivalry of the Warlords, but also Skill Drain waiting for Joshua. So he will have to play against this. And honestly, this matchup kind of ironic because Joshua Schmidt has talked about the difference between runic combo decks and runic decks that take the approach of Benjamin's deck here a little more so often before, and he will now have to play this matchup out himself, and he's going to be in the battle phase, and that is going to be met with the runic flashing fire of Benjamin, bringing out a Fracky there.
Wait, you can use runics to summon things that aren't Hugin? I've never seen this.
You actually can do that, for sure.
Josh, you're obviously not so familiar with it either.
Yeah, good old Fracky, the Runic Fangs. And when an attack is declared involving a card in the extra monster zone, you can just banish up to 2 cards from your opponent's deck. Yeah, there you go. Under Skill Drain, though, kind of unlikely to happen.
Has it got lots of defense points?
No, it has 0 defense, but the most important part is, if it gets destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target a Runic Quick Play in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So it recycles the Runic Flashing Fire by also protecting from battle. But in the main phase 2 now, we're going to activate a Runic Fountain, and it's followed by that Runic Tip, the best Runic card in the game.
Is absolutely gross from Josh, isn't it? It's like exactly what you want. Who cares if you can't use monster effects when you drew the Fountain and the Tip? You can get a destruction, maybe destroy the Skill Drain or hold it for a rivalry of the Warlords. All up to you. This seems like a horrendous time for this runic stun variant.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, we've been talking about it a little bit off the screen before the match started. That matchup seems pretty favorable for Josh, because the cards that are supposed to hinder people from playing, like the skill drain, like the Rivalry of the Warlords, can be outed quite easily through the runic engine, because you have that distraction searchable very easily. Oh, okay, flashing fire going to resolve and destroy the Fraki here.
And if you're accruing advantage through the fountain, it doesn't really matter what else is going on, right? It's, you know, the stun deck hopes that you know, your opponent's going to run out of stuff, or they're not going to have anything to answer your skill drain, your Rivalry of the Warlords. But if they keep drawing cards, eventually they're going to get that destruction, and they're going to deck you out before you deck them out.
That's true. Next up, we have triple tactic talents. Wow, we just wanted Benjamin to activate that effect of Fraki, because usually that deck, the runic stun deck, doesn't really tend to use any monster effects in main phase, but Joshua just forced it, just getting a couple of extra cards here for the talents.
This is very nice stuff from Josh, especially because like now he has to take a lot of advantage from his opponent, which is like left with a Mano Iwato in hand and another runic spell, and this is getting even crazier now because
rather the Warlords, but there is the runic destruction already waiting. We have been saying it. Oh, one fountain gone. Noted.
So 2 tip are gone.
2 tip and a fountain. That's tough for Benjamin. That doesn't make it any easier. And Joshua is chilling, resolving destruction, and therefore also resolving the freezing curse to summon out the Gary.
And has he got any useful synchro monsters under skill drain? You know, maybe an old Stardust Dragon.
I mean, why not? Let's just go for Stardust Dragon.
The classic combo.
But no, it is going to be the Diabell, Queen of the White Forest here, which is not going to be able to use its effect, most likely. But, I mean, yeah, because of the skill drain. But still, Joshua is just accumulating card advantage here. I think he's kind of taking control of this slowly but steadily. And he's just trying to figure out a plan. And he's just passing it over, all right. Okay, Benjamin's turn again now. And he would be able to just again normal summon that Mano Iwato. But that, of course, is also negated by the skill drain.
Yeah, I guess maybe Josh just wanted to get a monster out of his extra monster zone, freeing him up to activate some more runic spells.
Yeah, I like that.
Benjamin's turn.
And, okay, we do normal summon the Mano Iwato, interestingly enough. That is just going to stay there on the field. Of course, there is no battle phase for Joshua on the upcoming turn, but still, I don't really know what the Mano Iwato is going to do there.
Maybe it's a bit of an insurance policy. Another tip. This is absolutely
Joshua
insane.
Schmidt just has all the tips in the world. If you need a tip, just ask Josh and he will tell you. Wow. Are we also going to banish the third tip on the opponent's side now? That's a real question. Oh, the second fountain instead, which of course is also brutal, and Josh is having a giggle about it.
Yeah, and then the destruction as well. You can destroy the skill drain and make the Mano Iwato go back to the opponent's hand and draw 3 cards. This is just gross.
Yep, we are already in the process of drawing with the runic fountain. 3 cards are being added. Benjamin looking through his banished cards, realizing again there is double fountain. Joshua going out of a skill drain, and is that going to be met with a response here? Nope. More banishing, and more and more runics are being banished there. And Joshua tells him now, yeah, do you want to resolve that Mano Iwato now potentially in the end phase? Because we are still in that end phase, and that Mano Iwato would need to go back to the hand right there.
I think it's
okay, but he's just conceding. Joshua Schmidt in such a quick fashion for a runic deck. Usually you can't win a game with runic deck in 7 minutes, but Joshua Schmidt, of course, would be the only person in the world being able to do that. And once again, he may have found the best version of his favorite runic deck to include it into that White Forest deck. What do we think? Is that just now the perfect mix? Do you think those engines just work together so well?
I mean, really, this was just a runic mirror. There was not really much White Forest even, but I mean, this is a massive issue here. If you're playing the runic stun, you've got to defend against your opponent's White Forest and defend, and you're kind of also playing a runic mirror at the same time, which feels like an uphill battle.
Yeah, you're always being, you know, under pressure, you know, in a kind of mirror match like this. But I mean, we also have to say that Josh drew the better hand.
You could say so. I would agree. Yeah.
Because, like, you know, there was an Amano and a skill drain, which, you know, were completely useless, and I mean, yeah, now I think it's going to be fun because like now they both know that it's like a mirror match and maybe it's up against the side deck. So maybe they can help them out. But, you know, I can see Josh being favorite from the beginning. And of course, like he won game 1. So like
he's going to be even more of a favorite now, of course. Yeah. Absolutely, I do agree. Is there maybe any meta gaming when you're playing a Runic Mirror that you let your opponent start just to have that extra card? Is that ever a possibility, or do you think that's never ever going to happen?
I don't think you can let your opponent do all of their White Woods combos when you...
Fair. Yeah, it's just so many cards by drawing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Your opponent's going to draw a ton of cards. They're going to synchro a ton of monsters. You don't really... I mean, unless you do know, but I don't think I would know if I was playing against White Forest what it's capable of.
Oh, that makes sense. Like, I think this kind of matchup, like, Josh's opponent needs to go first, and maybe this time around, maybe the mana and the skill gen will have been side-decked out, so it's... yeah, they're not in the main deck, and we will soon find out because our players are ready. So let's jump into game 2.
I mean, one technology, even though it doesn't seem super favorable for your own Runic strategy, it could be siding in Dimension Shifter, honestly, because Benjamin Grinder is running that in his side deck, or normal summon out an Inspector Border and activate Card of Demise right after. This is going quite a lot better for Benjamin right away. And of course, Joshua can't even answer it with cards like Ash Blossom and Joy Spring because of that Inspector Border on the field. And now it's time for Benjamin to actually activate that Runic tip. And he banished the one-off, which is pretty important to note here, because that is the only copy of Wars of the White Forest that Joshua Schmidt is running. So that could be turning out very valuable for him. Oh, setting the other 2 cards. Perfect start for Benjamin here. After a very, very hard and tough game number 1 that went so quickly, he now is off to a real good start in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolute perfection, this opening hand. And even the Solemn Judge as
well.
Oh,
no, we're in the battle phase. Evenly matched. Tries to even out things, but Solemn Judgment answers it. Wow. Perfect answer so far. 10 out of 10 hand for the moment for Benjamin. But Joshua, of course, can never be ruled out.
Will there be a second evenly matched? That's the question.
I don't think so. Nope. There is no evenly matched. It would have come down quicker here, I'm pretty sure. Okay, Benjamin uses the time to read the words of the White Forest, while Joshua Schmidt just casually activates another Runic tip, as he does per usual. And that one is going to resolve.
So this time, we're going to get a lot of advantage for Benjamin off the Runic tip, so he's not so worried about having to defend against opposing Runic Destructions, for example, because you can just activate a Runic spell to negate that, well, sort of negate it, defend with the Hugin.
Yeah, that's true. So that Inspector Border, of course, being great in general, but as soon as Joshua starts summoning out fusion monsters, starts summoning out his Runic monsters like Hugin and so on and so forth, of course they would be able to activate their effects as when there is a fusion monster on the field.
It's still a bit of a limit though, right? Because I mean, Josh's only going to ever have Runics and Synchros at most.
Totally, okay.
So that's 2 effects. That's not very many effects. I feel like he probably wants to use more than that if he can.
There is now Runic Fountain and Hugin. Okay, we drew double Runic Slumber, which is not really optimal. Does Benjamin have an answer to this? Are we potentially going to flip another copy of Skill Drain? No, we're going to keep the Inspector Border live, and therefore we're going to let Joshua resolve both the Runic Fountain and the Runic... Oh, and the Hugin, the Runic Wings.
Was that the greedy order or the non-greedy order from Joshua? It was the non-greedy order. You know, when you have the Hugin and the Fountain, you have to pick... You want to risk drawing the second Fountain.
I always draw the second Fountain if I do it like that, not gonna lie. I mean, must be nice for Joshua Schmidt to never have that happen. Well, being world champion with the deck in Master Duel, winning YCSs with the left and right. I mean, at that point, Joshua Schmidt, you gotta say it, he won 2 YCSs with the Runic strategy, with the Runic Sprite deck, then also, of course, with the Runic Bestial deck just recently in this season as well in Bologna. He's just the master of the Runic cards, and he's proving it once more this weekend.
Yeah, why put it down?
Yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely no reason for it.
Still, that Inspector Border is kind of annoying to deal with.
Totally.
And, yeah, let's see if Josh can find his way to basically get rid of it, especially because like Benjamin is sitting pretty confident, I would say, you know, after that kind of start. But Josh passes. Yeah.
Well, you know you have a lot of time, right? It's not like you're in a massive rush against this deck.
Another Runic tip for Benjamin, though. And that's strong. We see turn by turn everyone just using their runic tips here. And the runic destruction is being searched.
Do you think maybe you just activate the runic destruction just to get rid of the Hugin? Oh no, he's going to draw cards now.
No.
Interesting.
I mean, that's a good start, right? 2 cards are being drawn. And yeah, I would assume you just go ahead and get rid of the, or try to get rid of the runic fountain. Of course, that is going to be met with, okay, no, never mind. I mean, one way to actually play around the protection effect of the Hugin would be to, first of all, use the runic freezing curses on the Hugin, and then after resolve use the distraction, because then it couldn't protect anymore. Oh, card scanner now! Those are some techniques, those are some technologies being used lately. Pretty recent card, and card scanner is actually, I don't even know how that works in a runic mirror match. We have to try to figure it out here on the fly, because you can declare one card type, and it would be monster, spell, or trap, of course, and then both reveal the bottom card. And yeah, that is spell, and they're just going to both add it to the hands. Card scanner is madness in that matchup, honestly, because you're giving your opponents runics with it.
This is super cool, though. You can just put a tip on the bottom of your deck, and then
that's how it's supposed to go.
Add it back to your hand. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, you do get to know when your opponent is getting his outs against usual decks, right? Here against Joshua, you're just giving him more and more runics, but against usual decks, you see when they're getting a Cosmic Cyclone and so on and so forth, so you know how to play around it potentially. But for now, we're just going to go runic tip, and I think we searched that freezing curses, so the plan that I was just pinpointing out there might be what Benjamin tries to go for here.
Oh, I love that plan, because there's no real way to defend against, is there? You have to...
Okay, runic destruction first, and you gotta chain that freezing curses as we do. Benjamin, of course, not playing the first runic mirror in his life, but there is Slumber to protect the Hugin. So that plan would be failing here.
How does it fail? Isn't the destruction... I don't think it...
Oh, wait.
You
No,
just want to
you're
negate
right.
the effects, right? Yeah.
Oh, Joshua, I think, is realizing himself right now, but that Slumber is not going to do a whole lot. I mean, it's protecting the Hugin this turn, but still, the Fountain is going to go.
Yeah, I think Josh just wanted to resolve the Slumber to get it in the grave. I'm not really sure about that.
There is now the Runic Fountain, and Joshua is thinking about a response to that, but no. And yeah, normally it doesn't matter which runic spell card you're going to put down there to the bottom of the deck, but when Card Scanner is up on the field, of course, it becomes a whole lot more important.
Well, it looks like he's about to shuffle his deck if he uses Pot of Duality.
Yeah, okay. But just in case, you want to make it a habit, right? Oh, look at that. There's Back and Be Only One, goes in match, and Runic Tip. Benjamin having a smile about that.
Another one.
I won't be smiling with a hand like this, honestly, and he's also holding into a Solemn Judgment.
Oh, it's even better than, yeah. And I can give you some more insight on Benjamin, because I was at the Austrian National Championship, and Benjamin actually, with the same deck, with the runic strategy as well, made top 4 at that event. So he definitely is no stranger to being successful with the runic strategy. He just used casually that Flashing Fire, wouldn't do anything, but still he just would want it in the graveyard apparently.
Yeah, that's interesting, but I don't know, I guess just put it in the grave.
Maybe he has another one, right? Probably has another one and just wants more runics in the grave. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, Joshua's turn, and there we go. Normal summoning out his first White Forest monster, which is the same one that he started off with last time, right? Or is it Russia this time?
This looks like
it's Russia, true.
Me.
This time it is going to be Russia, which is pretty powerful, to be honest. And also, of course, a level 4 tuner as the Sylvie is as well, of course, and Rivalry of the Warlords. And this time, there's no real way for Joshua to avoid it besides Runic Destruction. Does he have that Runic Destruction here, though?
But a Destruction, your opponent could just play a Runic of their own and get their own Hugin.
That's fair, yeah.
What a hand from Benjamin.
It does resolve. Yeah. Runic Fountain. Oh, Benjamin considering to react to that. I think, Alberto, you already spotted a Solemn Judgment. Is that worth using Solemn Judgment on, to be fair?
It really depends how he really feels like about this, because I don't think that's, you know, you could go into this, because what are you afraid of with a hand like this, to be fair? It's like, you know, you're such a huge advantage. And, I mean, I think you could also wait. Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Okay, we let it through. Smiting Storm would be banishing 5 cards here in total, or up to 5, but I'm sure Joshua would want to take advantage of banishing the maximum there.
This is a proper, like, old-school runic battle, isn't it?
Yeah, very much. No battle phase, just banishing, pretty much.
Just banish, deck you out first.
Oh, Benjamin is going to put additional cards to the field, apparently. Runic Tip is being chained, okay.
I like just getting an important card out of the deck before it might get banished.
Fair. Which one is that going to be? Just Destruction?
Probably Destruction, because one's already gone, and I guess you'd hate to see the second one go.
Oh, okay. We have a chain of Runics coming down here, and that is freezing curses on the Inspector border. Okay. Do we respond to that now? Only one more free spot, and that is going to be Flashing Fire on the Hugin, right? Or do we want to summon out?
I have absolutely no idea what's about to happen here.
Oh, I think he wants to destroy it. Yes. Hugin gone, banishing 2 cards. Oh, those were 2 White Forest monsters.
A lot of them have been banished from Joshua's side, so I think he may be left with really a few White Forests name in the deck.
Yeah, but I mean, we're banishing 7 cards here, aren't we? For that Smiting Storm, because we actually just added cards, and those cards only go to the graveyard until the end of the chain, and therefore that is going to be 7 cards here, which hurts a lot, because that's almost a quarter of your deck. Benjamin wants to make sure, but yeah, I think that is definitely how it is being handled. Yeah, and Benjamin realizes, counting himself, 7. Let's see what's going down there. Oh, the double desires. I think pretty sure he didn't want to activate those anyways anymore, but still, getting so many cards out of your deck is massive.
Yeah, this is going to be a big chain now. There's probably going to be both fountains, maybe a Runic Destruction. Josh doesn't actually have another Runic in his hand to defend the fountain.
I think he doesn't, because he has a triple tactic talent and a monster card.
And I mean, even if he had, that Solemn Judgment would just shut down the chain then, and then you would kind of get that out of the system. Oh,
everyone
the Inspector border is negated, of course, of course.
And then the Runic Destruction.
There is the Runic Destruction. Joshua quickly grabs it, banishes cards from the top of his deck. That fountain is gone, and he's left with 2 cards in his hand. And Benjamin, at the same time, being able to draw 3 more cards here, putting that Runic Tip back to the bottom of the deck.
I mean, stun decks aren't supposed to draw this many cards.
They do, though. Joshua Schmidt has to pass it over. So it's back over to Joshua, but his, not Joshua, back over to Benjamin, but his deck looks really diminished. There's not that many cards left. Pot of Duality is going to fetch 1 more out there. It's going to be Runic Tip. And I think that was a bit of a misstep there, and Benjamin also realized, because you want to start with the card scanner in case you want to activate it to get that safe Runic Tip. On the other hand, honestly, I don't even really like keeping the card scanner in this matchup in general, because you just can't take the risk of giving your opponent more Runics just on the fly every single time you activate this effect.
Maybe it just helps to deck them out.
Maybe, yeah, you're right. Could be the case, but decking out could really be what determines the outcome of this match here, of this game. Hugin, of course, is going to be going to the extra deck. Yeah, true, we forgot that. That's mandatory because it was destroyed. Now Fountain is going to draw Benjamin 2 cards once more by putting these 2 back. Wow, there's a couple of trap cards sitting there now. More and more of them. So Benjamin is very far ahead in terms of card advantage, but is that going to be good? Oh, look at that. I mean, are we just giving him a Runic?
Oh, he didn't call it. He called something else.
We did not call spells. I like that approach, honestly. I really like that approach. What do you think we called? Just trap cards?
Probably traps.
Probably traps, yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. Just making sure what the top card is and whether you want to banish it with the Slumber. No, and with discarding a skill drain. That's ironical.
You draw it into evenly matched, but there's a Solemn Judgment, unfortunately, so it's not going to help.
And do we even have a battle phase? We might have a battle phase, right? We could have skipped the last one.
No, I think there were like tons of Runic spells activated.
I mean, but not in the turn of Benjamin, to be fair.
Oh yeah,
look at that.
Slumber.
We have the evenly matched in the battle phase, and then there is Solemn Judgment, as we were saying, answering it. Joshua left with the 2 cards he had last turn already left in his hand. And it goes back over to Benjamin, who at this point might actually start making use of his battle phase. But apparently he doesn't care. I mean, okay, you get the Runic Tip out of the system in main phase 1, then you skip the battle phase, and then maybe next turn you start going after it. But wait, he had a battle phase this turn, right?
Yeah, I think he could have used a battle phase. I don't think he's going to get 4 battle phases, is he, though, to win the game with a Inspector border.
Okay, Runic Tip.
He's just run out of tip, or maybe is this the second one? Not sure, but honestly.
We're going to use the Runic Fountain, recycle once more. Keeps on drawing trap cards. We already threw 2 Solemn Judgments, so if Joshua maybe finds another evenly matched, that could still be turning things around here. Oh, we're revealing the bottom. That was a Flashing Fire, which now goes to the top of the deck for Josh. So again, no spell card being called, and there is now the Duality. Grabbing that Runic Tip again. Benjamin is acting so quickly, and I think if you're bringing a deck like the Runic strategy that he brought, you have to be so quick, otherwise you're just going to end up in way too many time scenarios throughout the tournament. So I really think that is one of his main benefits, that he's so quick with the deck, and that's why he had success with it recently.
So do you think Josh is just going to be passing all of the turns now just to see if the deck out happens?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, look, in the end phase, we just discard 2 Runics. I mean, we can make good use of those in the upcoming turns, of course, but still, so many cards for Benjamin. Oh.
I don't think Joshua wants to commit any cards to the field, right? Because if you activate anything, your opponent can just chuck a Runic spell at it and banish a bunch of your cards.
Oh, we're counting ourselves. Yo, both of them, I think, have like 5 or 6 cards left. So using Runic Tip here, is there even a Runic we can still get? Yeah, there's Slumber. I mean, Slumber is great because it can be activated on our own monster, banishing 3 cards from Joshua here, of course. 1, 2, 3. How many is it left for Joshua? I think 2 might be the number
there may
here.
Be 2 or 3, yeah.
Yep. 2 would be interesting, though, because we couldn't really get to 2. Getting to 3 is easy, as we just saw with the Slumber, but getting to 2 could be a bit more of a problem.
Well, you can just use 1 more tip, right, and then...
Oh, it's 2 cards indeed. He gives them the card now, this time calling spell cards against a Runic Tip would be a way to eliminate the rest of the deck for Joshua Schmidt. So do we have a deck out win here on day 1 of the European World Championship qualifier? It just needs a tip here at this point, and I mean, he's sorting his hand. Is there really no tip in his hand? No, he has like 20 cards in his hand.
There's no targets for tip, I don't think, because he just added the Slumber.
Oh, yeah. True. There might be a tip but no target. Okay, so Joshua does get another turn here.
But what can he do?
I mean, Benjamin also only has 2 cards left in his deck.
Joshua's now got
crazy.
1, right? So
this is actual madness here in round number 8. And Joshua considering his options. And I think he just passed. Well, that looked like a pass, yeah. But maybe not. He does pass, though. I mean, any Runic could have also been so dangerous for Benjamin here, right?
Can he activate the tip? Yeah, no, he can't activate it.
There's no more target. Benjamin was already feeling the win there, but there's no more target for the Runic Tip, so he couldn't activate it. I hope he didn't mistakenly do that before. Judges, of course, immediately. Oh, does he have to confirm first?
Yeah, maybe he's just checking. Like, he wants to be able to activate the tip because it would just end the game, but...
Look, he's just counting. Yeah, look, he's sorting them. Let's count how many Runics is in total in my deck, how many of them could still possibly be there in my deck, and there's only 1 card left in his deck, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, don't you just activate card scanner here potentially? I mean, you'd have the risk of just... you could check with the card scanner whether it is a Runic in your deck, to be fair.
Yeah, you don't want to accidentally draw the card and not have Joshua draw the card.
And look at that, Joshua is smiling. What a funny game they're playing here.
Oh, he can activate the tip.
It's a tip. And there was a Runic card left in there, but it was a Runic tip. So he was actually counting, which I think is a correct approach to find out whether there's Runics left. But I mean, that Runic is the one you can't search, so that would not work. I hope he didn't do that by accident before, but it looks like he could just take that back, gets a warning for it, and moves on with it. But, I mean, if Joshua now finds... I mean, how could he find a tip?
He can't use a tip, right?
Yeah, that's
nothing else banishes 1, so...
I mean, Smiting Storm would. Is the Smiting Storm the last card in his deck? Oh, it's not. It's Triple Deck. Okay, yeah, it's Triple Deck test. We confirmed with the card scanner. Joshua Schmidt draws the last card out of his deck. And now, what? Oh, he actually sees an option here. Let's see.
Well, you gotta do something.
I mean, maybe there's an option in his extra deck saying, hey, your opponent draws a card or something. Who knows?
He's like, can I activate the card scanner?
Oh no, there is no way for insane. Pretty crucial. Game number 2 for the process of decking out. We see Benjamin Greiner from Austria taking away a game from the Runic Master himself, Joshua Schmidt. So this will come down to a 3rd game.
that, I mean, Benjamin's opening hand was like supreme, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that game came right down to the wire. That was deck out by 1 card extra. So that to me is a bit worrying. Like, he went first, he opened with just, if you could choose your hand, I don't know how much different you would choose it.
Yeah.
So is that a bit worrying?
Yeah, I think, like, I don't know what happened, to be fair, because, like, the advantage was so big and so evident that we thought that, like, the game was over, like, I think 10 minutes ago or something, right?
True.
And then I think it just lost control of, you know, the more Kari was playing, the more he was losing control of the game. He should have had it, like, more easily, right? So it's, at the end, I think if Josh didn't banish all that good cards, he might have had a chance, to be fair, you know?
Yeah. What do you think in general? Like, almost 17 minutes left on the clock right now. Is that enough to play another game we just saw with the process of decking out, or is that going to be decided in a different way here?
That's interesting, because you are in trouble if you can't win the game in the short period of time, because you're gonna, if you activate a Solemn Judgment,
yeah, exactly,
which seems quite a crucial card, then you're going to be down on life points almost certainly.
Yeah, but I mean, 70 minutes could be enough. Like, that definitely could be potentially enough. Then on the other hand, though, looking at the extra decks, Joshua Schmidt is playing so many Synchro monsters because his deck is a White Forest Synchro Runic deck pretty much, and therefore he doesn't have space anymore to include cards like Moonin, for example. And therefore that is a pretty convenient option, which on the other hand Benjamin has to maybe gain life points throughout the process. But on the other hand, Joshua has decided to bring Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood into his deck. But do we even bring that in against Runic Stun? Probably not, right? Because he can't find a good spot to use it even.
No, I mean, it seems pretty useless, right? Because if your opponent uses a Runic to special summon even, they can just summon a Hugin. It's got no attack.
And then they burn you, right? If there's nothing else summoned.
Yeah.
That is not pretty convenient overall. But let's see how this last game is going to be approached by those two players. I'm pretty sure we're going to see, for the first time in this match, Joshua Schmidt going first. Game number 3 on our hands. Over to the table we go. To be or not to be, an X1 record to go into day 2 would be quite great, but only one of them can at least go into the last round of the day with an X1 record here. So, who is starting it off? Yep, it will be Joshua, as expected.
We're doing a bit of Shakespeare.
Yeah, I thought that was the correct time. We have like, I think, did we just, no way. Joshua Schmidt didn't activate a singular card here in his opening turn, and Benjamin now has an empty field ahead of him. Nothing to be scared of, activating Runic Freezing Curses right away. Wow, that's crazy to imagine. That kind of a deck with so many Runics, how is there nothing you can do?
I have no idea, honestly. Maybe he's got evenly matched
I think
still
he
in
has
his
a
deck
strategy,
and talents.
honestly, yeah. I think I agree with you,
Possibly,
Tom.
possibly.
But like, if that was your strategy, would you go first? I mean,
probably still, honestly.
I think it's like a sort of inception that may be like, you let your opponent think that you brick, but the reality is that your hand is good. You know what I mean? I mean, like, that's a possible scenario. I don't know. Like, we will soon find out, I guess. But
oh, not much happening for Benjamin either, actually. This is very minimalistic here for the third game.
I'm struggling to understand this Pot of Desires. Like, if you're not willing to activate it, why did you put it in your? Why is it in your deck?
I agree. But I mean, on the other end, the cards that he can bring in from his side deck don't really do that much either against another Runic deck. So I think it's just very unlucky here for him because he wasn't prepared for a Runic Mirror, which is understandable, but to be fair. Okay, Joshua goes for Runic Flashing Fire, so I think that kind of rules out the possibility of an evenly match, to be honest. Goes through. The Hugin goes back into the extract. Did we enable triple tactic talents through that, though? Because that is a mandatory effect that you would have to activate. Indeed, that is the case. Joshua Schmidt now refreshing his hand potentially with 2 new cards. Not able to do much on the first turn, but now maybe with those new cards, able to do more.
Obviously, maybe Joshua is struggling to find cards to side out as well if he had to keep in that triple tactics talent.
I mean, that was kind of convenient, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had to wait a turn to use it. I'm not sure.
Oh, and we passed it back over. I cannot believe Joshua also physically, as you can see in his face cam, struggling with those draws because he really can't get anything going. Runic Destruction in the end phase now. There's the Moonin that I was talking about. So Benjamin, while also trying to resolve that Runic Fountain here, will be able to gain himself 1,000 life points, bringing him ahead in that regard. Okay, all right. We are not going to draw 2, but we're going to gain 1,000 life points.
Is that how many Ash Blossoms are in Josh's hand?
I think that was only one, actually.
It's just one?
There's Pot of Duality, there's Runic Tip off the top! Benjamin loves it! And some people in the crowd, his friends probably are cheering for him because that's a fantastic card to reveal there. Josh tried to stop the Runic cycle kind of by ashing that fountain effect, but Benjamin didn't hesitate, just immediately found another Runic there off the top. The best one you could imagine even.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about Joshua having that life point advantage, but it looks like Benjamin's got it now, and it seems quite difficult to swing a life point advantage in a Runic match.
Totally.
No one has any battle phases very often.
And I mean, that Moonin is not just on summon or something, it's going to be there every end phase. You're going to get life points, 1,000 life points each, every end phase that you have. Yours, your opponent's, and that is going to add up. I think Benjamin comfortably will be going up to 5 digits here already, and potentially even more.
Oh, wow, another Ash Blossom being drawn by Josh, which I really think that besides having that evenly matched, because he has one. Yeah.
Oh, sounds like battle phase, evenly matched activated. So at least we're going to deal with the Moonin, which immediately gets banished, and all the other cards in the Spell and Trap Zone follow along. Runic Fountain, only card left for Benjamin. And finally, Joshua can start playing here by normal summoning out that Rusia. Oh wait, no, it's not Rusia, but it is Sylvie instead. Freezing Curses, immediately the answer though. Banishing one of the other White Forests, which we haven't seen at all so far on the field, LZ of the White Forest, but we're also not going to see it here. And also, pretty crucial, one of the tails of the White Forest there was also banished. So, don't think Josh can like that too much. But now that actually is Verusia now.
Yeah, that can special summon itself if you control a White Forest. All of the White Forest monsters seem to be tuners though, so...
Except the LZ, actually.
Oh,
the LZ is no
LZ.
tuner,
Okay.
but that has not found its way onto the field just yet. And there is the Flashing Fire now from Benjamin. He still has Runic quick spells left to interact, but okay, we can counter that with a Flashing Fire ourselves. And of course, we're not trying to destroy anything, but we're just summoning out the Hugin to protect our own monster.
Yeah, Joshua running quite low on cards here, so I'm wondering what you can achieve with just these 2 White Forest monsters. I guess we'll find out.
Okay, yeah, we gotta protect with the Hugin first, right? That Hugin can't just stay there. Or am I missing something?
I guess
we're not protecting. Look at that. We're not even protecting. I see.
Maybe he's just trying to order his chain links cleverly. So now there won't be those 3 extra cards.
Oh, Ash Blossom and Joy Spring on the potential upcoming draw free from Benjamin. Joshua being able to deny that is huge.
So Joshua can add the Fountain, but that looks like his sole remaining card. So he's got to somehow find a way to pick up another Runic spell.
Yeah.
Does the White Forest let you do this?
I mean, Tri-Edge Master would be a Synchro 6 that he has been running in other Runic decks before, which would just on its summon get you 1 draw potentially, which may as well be a Runic card if you ask me. And if I'm asking Joshua Schmidt, that's probably what he needs right now.
Here we go. How many Runic cards can you even activate, though? Your opponent's got he got the lone Runic Fountain on the field, so you have to draw, like, Destruction or Slumber or Tip.
No, you can, like, you're clearing the extra monster zone when you do that, so you would actually have space for summoning out another Runic monster. But still, we already used the Flashing Fire, so that definitely does rule out a couple of opportunities and possibilities. But is Joshua going to commit into that play? Is that his way of choice? It is going to be the Tri-Edge Master, and he needs a half of the card moment, a Joshua Schmidt moment, which would be drawing a Runic card here, specifically a Runic Quick Spell. There is the Fountain, and there also is the Freezing Curses for Runic, and the crowd is going wild, but there is the Distraction as an answer. Benjamin immediately countering it as well.
That's just devastating.
Wow. Oh, wow, we summon out the Gary. Gary can bring back the Runic Fountain, but, of course, the one before it can't resolve.
And no more tuners, right? So you have to make the Chaos Angel?
Yeah. That is the Chaos Angel. That will get rid of the Runic Fountain, so it's going to be very, very little resources here overall for both players from here on.
The Joshua very much in the driver's seat with that Fountain left in his hand, right?
Yeah. I agree. And also banishing the fountain there on Benjamin's side is of course huge, because he can't just recover it as Joshua did recover his fountain. So only 8 minutes left. It's getting very, very tense here. Benjamin ahead in life points. Joshua, though, with a runic fountain in his hand. How is this going to go down? I think Benjamin has... Oh, the card scanner. A risky card, as we have seen before. That's a spell. And the monster for Joshua. That's tough.
No.
Because that also now reveals that he's going to draw a monster next turn, making his runic fountain not so powerful anymore.
Yeah, that's a terrible draw.
Oh, my. And you saw Joshua was shaking his hand, and he's discarding the runic fountain now instead to actually activate the effect of LZ of the White Forest. Now, for the first time, we've been talking about it so far, he didn't summon it, but now it is about time to bring it out. The only non-tuner monster of the main deck White Forest monsters. And we are going to be able to search out the... That's Rusia, right? No, it's Sylvia. Oh, I always confuse them. Sylvia of the White Forest is coming out, but there is freezing curses immediately meeting it. But now Benjamin is in the weird position where he has to use runic spells with no runic fountain face up on the field. So whatever runic spells he activates here, they're just not going to replace itself. So Joshua, the longer this game goes on, I think is kind of sailing away with it, but he doesn't have that much time overall left, of course.
Yeah, he just needs to make it to the one battle phase, so he's got to skip this next one.
Oh, is that potentially SP Little Knight? I mean, SP Little Knight could also deal with the last remaining face-down card there. Are you ever going to clear the card scanner? I feel like the card scanner is working in his favor as well, so I would always just leave it on there, honestly. Okay, we will see here. We do go after the card scanner. Okay, I see. So Joshua disagrees. He doesn't want that card anymore. Okay, back over to Benjamin now. This is really coming down to the wire. 6 minutes and back over to Joshua. We're just passing turns left and right here. Really grindy Yu-Gi-Oh! I love this.
But this is going to be the damage.
There's destruction. We're protecting at all costs here. Trying to summon out a monster.
Ah, so you can get the Runic Fangs or the Hugin.
Ooh. We're discarding the Dimension Shifter, of course. That is not going to do anything. So we can also ourselves now finally get the Runic Fountain back. But also that still means, oh no, we're not going to be able to get ahead of life points here now anymore, because that is going to be catching one of the attacks, and then the other attack is only going to be 1,600 points of damage through the SP Little Knight, meaning Benjamin's still 400 life points ahead. And now with Runic Fountain in his hand. But there's Runic Tip for Joshua Schmidt as well! Holy...
I'm trying to figure out, did Benjamin not have 2 Runics a few turns ago? Why didn't he just go Hugin and, like, a few turns ago? Oh. He had the Destruction and the Tip and the Freezing Curses, right?
I don't think we had Tip, though.
No, we had Freezing Curses to add.
So Joshua being able to surge that Destruction now as a potential immediate answer to the Runic Fountain. Drawing another card, setting a card, passing over after skipping the battle phase. Benjamin's turn now again. 3 cards in hand in total. More ways to defend potentially. Ooh, but he has to keep one of those cards in hand. That's not a good sign, because usually you want to set all of your cards here. So maybe another Dimension Shifter?
It's a Fountain.
Oh wait, you're right. It is the Fountain. Completely true. But when you don't activate the Fountain, does that mean we have no way to protect it?
Well, Joshua added Destruction, didn't he?
He did. Yeah.
So I guess he just wants to protect his Fountain from Destruction.
Oh man, this is so close. Another monster though for Joshua, able to attack the LZ of the White Forest. Could be attacking, but 0 attack is not a whole lot that he can provide there. And there can be only one for Benjamin. Does Joshua want to give up that battle phase for that?
Yeah, he's either got to give up his battle phase or one of his spellcasters.
He is deciding to give up one of the spellcasters. Battle phase. And now Benjamin is taking that. So that means we are going to see Joshua Schmidt going ahead in life points here. Very important moment for him, because he is now in the driver's seat. Not only card advantage-wise, but also life points-wise, as you can clearly see now on the screen.
Yeah, is there cards in deck so now like Benjamin almost has to end the game by decking Joshua out, which is very difficult to do with only a few minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Benjamin to come back into this, but let's see what he picks up from his deck.
Here comes the Fountain.
Now deciding to activate it, and the pass bow.
So he just needs to have multiple runic spells, I guess, and that way
Battle phase again, going through. We're taking another attack of both of the monsters.
Wow, this is very intense. Joshua's not got many cards left, actually.
You're right.
That's the point, yeah.
I didn't even realize. When did he lose all of these cards? And there is a
we
runic
go.
tip
Runic
now.
tip.
Benjamin,
The
not even 3 minutes,
absolute
but
ideal draw.
working his way through now, maybe. Is there a smite? Wow. Look,
6
we're
cards.
counting. It's 6 cards in total in the deck for Joshua Schmidt. So if there is a smiting storm, that could be crucial, but we're going for flashing fire first.
Gotta have
my.
like different numbers of banishing so you can make sure you can always resolve.
But the thing with flashing fire is that can be kind of dodged by the SP Little Knight, right? Because you just chain the Little Knight, banish it, and then you don't banish the 2 cards anymore.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that. It doesn't feel like it does all that much.
So, any response by Joshua here? Oh my. Runic Slumber, of course, can also protect it. And that is going to be fine. We're going to be banishing 3 cards here on the side of Benjamin. Another tip gone. Runic Fountain activates its effect. Does Joshua respond to that with the distraction? He has to, right? We do. And there is the freezing curses, but no response from Joshua, so we can protect against the distraction. Man, it's really going to be possible here for Benjamin. Okay, drawing 3 cards. I think one of that was a slumber, which is huge as well. Being able to banish 3 cards. Another count, 5 in total here for Josh.
No more battle phases for Joshua, so he can't really apply any pressure.
Oh my. Amano Iwato being normal summon, protecting against potential monster effects, setting a card into the hand again in the end phase though. Over to Josh. 1.5 minutes. What a heartbeat final we're about to have here. Joshua counting his cards in the deck again, setting 1 card.
No
passing
more
it
battle
over.
phases.
Benjamin now. Can he do it? There is the runic tip as well. That's crazy. I think he might be able to pull it off here.
Because I
the
think
upset.
he's left with 4 cards, right?
Yes.
He's got
So
4. You're going to take
He
1.
gets rid one.
There's the slumber too. Joshua. Any response here on that end?
He has to respond, otherwise he loses
Yeah.
4 cards.
What's the response?
You
going
have to.
be,
You just
though?
respond
Maybe a
with
tip or something.
Well, you just respond with the SP, right? But then maybe there's something else face down.
I'll show you. Oh.
Slumber of his own.
We're going to go for slumber yourself. And we're resolving. We are resolving, meaning Joshua Schmidt is just going to lose all of his cards in deck here. 28 seconds, though. It's going to come down to the wire. Look at that. Joshua Schmidt, no cards left in his deck. And Benjamin Greiner defeating the Runic Master himself in a Runic mirror match here. Coming out on top, 2-1 in a heartbeat finally. What a match that was. Woo! What a roller coaster of emotions, right?
Yeah, I mean, this game 3, honestly, we thought for a second that Joshua might have won it because that there was a moment in which basically Benjamin was out of cards. And then, I don't know, out of a sudden, like, he realized how many cards there was left in Joshua's deck, and he was able to run Joshua's out of cards. Unbelievable performance.
I mean, it's just the quick start for Benjamin really paid off, right? Because I wasn't even aware that Josh has so little cards left in deck until that certain point where he revealed that he's only like 6 or 7 cards left. And then obviously there was a way for Benjamin to win. And then having that double runic to protect against the distraction, crucial point, sealing the deal for Benjamin.
Yeah, I mean, the runic matches can often just lie on this knife edge of like, can you get that one all-important fountain resolve? And he managed to do it. Like, excellent play.
That was fantastic. And I mean, honestly, kind of ironic that the runic combo master himself, Joshua Schmidt, always saying, hey, my decks are runic combo decks, please play runic combo decks, and he's now going to be defeated by the stunned version of the deck. I mean, very well played anyways by Benjamin, you gotta say it. You gotta admit, he really played it out perfectly.
I think he's honor bound now to turn up with runic stun to the next event. I think we should tell him.
Probably. You should inform him about that. Yeah. He's going to be very, very happy. I'm very, very sure. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, in his version of the deck, he was running a couple of those cards himself. There's 3 skills in his main deck. We didn't see them, but there is, I can tell you. Also, he's siding rivalry with the Warlord, so he already is, he's halfway there. He's already, he's being in the process of being convinced, I would assume. And it's lovely to see those events, the European Championship or the European World Championship qualifiers. Emotions are really something that you see here a lot more than at YCS, because of course, winning a YCS is beautiful. But going to the World Championship is actually just something different, if you ask me.
Definitely.
It's just the final goal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for Joshua, he is already going to the World Championship as a defending Master World Champion. So, I mean, but obviously he's a competitor. He's going to want to do as well as he can. But, I mean, Benjamin, what a feeling that's got to be. It's got to be terrifying to play against Joshua Schmidt, of all people, in a feature match in front of everybody, and to turn up and play nice and clean and beat him in a mirror match.
Yeah.
Wow, super cool.
Unbelievable, especially because, like, I think there was a moment in which he might have thought, okay, maybe I lost this one, because like Josh was in complete control, I have to say. Like he was left with what, Fountain and maybe a set card, what was it? I don't even remember.
Almost nothing.
And Joshua was continuing attacking, almost reducing his life point to 2,000 and something, and then out of a sudden, basically the game once again changed, and Benjamin was on the driver's seat. So like this up and down was unbelievable, honestly, and Benjamin is going up with a 7-1 record into the tournament with one last remaining match for today, which means that Joshua is sitting with an extra record and he has to win the next match to advance into day 2 tomorrow.
He has to win, but of course, everyone at home, don't be upset. He is still in. If he just manages to win all of the remaining rounds, and of course for someone like Joshua Schmidt, that's still of course a possibility, he would still be able to make it into the top cut if he just keeps on winning. And I mean, he lost the first round and then managed to crawl up to 6-1, so he may as well just do it again, winning a couple of rounds from here on, right?
Yeah, just 4 rounds remaining, so
easy.
Anything's possible. I mean, winning 4 rounds in a row is quite a tough thing to do for any player. So we'll wait and see if he carries on in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the experience may played out. I mean, a good role for Josh, especially because like in the very few like last rounds, there may be players not so experienced or that can feel the pressure, for example. No, Josh is no stranger to the feeder match area and the last rounds of the tournament. So I think that, you know, of course, like losing this one of the penultimate round of day 1, yeah, I mean, of course it hurts, but, you know, still one more match to go. And I would say, without no further ado, guys, let's hear it from Head. Take it away.
Thank you very much. I am joined by our round 8 feature match winner, Benjamin Greiner, who has an adoring amount of fans behind the camera. All cheering away. All of your friends here to support you.
Yeah, all of my friends. We're in a hotel with 12 people, and these are all of my friends. The Austrian community is very great.
Wow, big shout out to the Austrian community here who are really giving you a lot of props. So we were just talking just off camera. This is quite like a lot of our feature matches. Your first time doing a feature match.
Yeah, it's my first time.
And you won against one of the world champions, who is also renowned for playing Runic. You beat him at his own game.
Yeah, I was really surprised that I won the game, actually, because Runic is a pretty tough matchup. Like, with my Runic stun variation, it's pretty hard to play against other Runic decks. But yeah, I managed to get the win. I'm happy about it.
When you're up against those mirror matches, what are the things you have to consider?
Yeah, you have to consider, of course, you have to get rid of the fountains. The fountains are the card in the mirror match, so yeah, and you have to keep track of when you can protect with the Hugin. Like, if he uses a Runic for summon, you have to chain the skill drain or something like. You have to negate the Hugin.
There was a moment in game 3 where Josh had a sort of heart of the cards moment and finally drew a fountain because he struggled to get started, and then you immediately stopped it. So you basically did exactly what you said.
Yeah, you have to get rid of the fountain immediately, because if he summons a fusion, if he used it to summon, and he already got it back with the Gary, but it was still worth it because he didn't get the draws. Wow. So yeah.
And game 2, you also had like a perfect starting hand.
Yeah.
So what did you open for people who didn't see?
Yeah, my starting hand was Inspector Border, Card of the Mice, Rivalry, and Round Runic, Card Scanner, and the Card
You almost couldn't choose a better hand,
yeah,
you know?
the Card of the Mice drew 2 Runic tips, I think, and Solemn Judgment as well. Like, I had everything you could wish for.
So really went your way.
Yeah,
so you are now 7-1.
Yes.
What was the 1 against?
It was against Anthony Lopez and his Snake Eye strategy.
Oh, he's very good, yeah.
And he also had like really nice tech cards.
Really?
I don't want to mention them because I don't want to
don't give away the spice.
Yeah.
How many other Snake Eyes have you gone up against?
Snake Eyes? Not so much, actually. That's, I think...
What were some of the other matches?
I had 4 Tempais. I didn't drop a game against Tempai. Tempai is the best matchup for me. 4 Tempais, 2 Snake Eyes, 1 U-Bell, and now the White Woods.
Goodness me. Okay, so you've really seen an awful lot of it. And at this point now 7-1 with one more match today to do. You feeling confident?
Yeah, I was really confident as well at the feature match. I wasn't really nervous. I mean, yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great chatting to you, mate. Congratulations, honestly, because that's a huge victory. I'm going to let you go over there and join Leo now, because you guys are going to go through play-by-play. But thank you so much for talking to me. Let's hear a cheer one more time. That's the Austrian community for you, really showing the love. They've even got a Shana for Benji. This is very exciting, but as we've been doing with all of these rounds, we are now going to hear from the winner himself with the amazing Leo, who has been watching eagle-eyed every single moment of that duel to bring you guys a perfect play-by-play analysis. And what a duel it was, with two different good thing my tongue works and my mouth works as well. Two different deck outs during that for Joshua Schmidt. There we go. Finally managed to get that tongue twister out. Anyway, Leo, over to you. Take it away with the analysis.
Thank you, Ed. I see that the crowd has also joined us here in the analysis corner. Give it up one more time. That is adorable. Okay, I'm really happy that you're joining me here, because we have quite a lot to cover. I think we have over 8 clips that we're going to discuss now.
Wow.
And the first one is going to come up soon. That is actually just one thing from game 1. That is the one that you have lost. And that was the moment where you got flashing fired in this situation, and you activated the effect of your monster in the graveyard. Did you expect a talent to come, or was that something that you were surprised by?
No, I didn't really expect talents to come from him, because I'm really not familiar with the Wildwood's strategy. As you might have seen on the feature meta, I had to read every card, so I wasn't familiar with his deck list. But I think that I had no other choice, because I had no runic spell in rotation, and I had to get at least one. So yeah, might as well.
So you take this with a laughing and a crying eye with the talents.
Guess.
What were your thoughts when you saw that it was Whitewoods?
I mean, I was sat next to Joshua the last round, so I knew he was on Whitewoods. And was really scared about the matchup, because, first of all, I don't know the cards, and Runic is a really tough matchup, as I said before, for the Runic stun strategy. So yeah.
Yeah, we figured that, like, the Runic strategy has so many tools to prohibit the stun deck from stunning, basically.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how you provided a field that he couldn't really break in game number 2, because that was an opening. What did you think when you drew your opening hand?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
What did you think when you drew your opening hand?
You can see it on my face right now. That was what I was thinking. So, like, it was insane. It was like a dream, really. Like, if you could pick a hand, you would choose exactly this hand.
How many hands like this did you have in the entire tournament so far?
I don't know, and I drew pretty good with this deck overall, but none of my hands were this crazy. Like, this was by far the best hand I had in the whole tournament.
I mean, this is a pretty perfect place to have the best hand of the tournament.
That's right, yeah.
I think we can go right into the next clip, because there was a lot of stuff happening. Even though that was a crazy hand, your opponent did not scoop at all. And what is your strategy when you know that? I mean, the strategy there is pretty clear, right?
So that the runic strategy is on evenly matched is pretty obvious, I think. So but if you have Card of the Mice, you just go for it. You have to set all of your cards. Otherwise, you have to discard them. So yeah, there was no really choice for me for this. But in game 3, for example, he just passed, and I figured, okay, he might just have evenly and wants me to play into it.
Very good observation. We're going to talk a little bit more about game 2, though, because even though the evenly was negated, your opponent didn't give up, and he's known for talking about this matchup as well, saying that he has quite the good matchup against the stun variants. And in the next clip, we're going to see him playing into your field a little bit more. And I think, what is happening in this situation? And also, can you talk about Card Scanner in this matchup? Because I think at this point we realize that Joshua is trying to deck you out.
Yeah, of course. The winning strategy against Runic stun with another Runic deck is to deck you out. But at this situation, I just wanted to avoid him to draw with the Fountaineer, and I took the risk of banishing 2 extra cards.
So what is your strategy behind Card Scanner in this Runic Mirror match, basically? Because it's a kind of dangerous game.
Yeah, it's a kind of a dangerous game, but if like you saw here at this point, when I used the Card Scanner for the first time, Joshua wasn't familiar with it. and he had the tip and the slumber, and he put the slumber at the bottom of the deck, and it's okay-ish to put the slumber. And also, I don't have that many good cards to side into the deck, so Card Scanner is a card that does something at least.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen you handle it pretty fantastically. In the end, Joshua couldn't get so many tips as well anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, what was your thought in this situation? Because you still had the upper hand on the field and you were kind of reducing the cards that Joshua had to a minimum. What was your plan behind the whole thing? Because at this point, the field was pretty open. You had some cards in hand. What were your thoughts? Did you think that you were going to win this matchup? Were you confident with it?
Yeah, I was pretty confident winning this game, especially because even if he gets to the point where I'm close to losing, I still have the Card Scanner, for example, that gets me to my tips all the time. And one thing that's also very nice with the Card Scanner is that you can also call, I did that multiple times in the match as well, you can falsely call monster or trap cards, so you see the top deck of them, and then you can, if it's a good one, you can banish it away with a runic, and if it's a bad one, they can draw it.
Oh, that's actually pretty smart. How good was Card Scanner in the rest of the tournament as well?
Pretty insane, actually. Card Scanner is a card that not a lot of runic players, runic stun players are onto, but I think it's really nice. I think people are scared of giving the opponent Cosmic Cyclone and stuff like that, but those cards aren't really played at the moment, so I think it's a good call right now.
Absolutely agree. And I mean, in this situation, you could see that you were taking away the fountain of Joshua, and I think this is key in the runic mirror match, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you took away the fountain, and then you were just controlling the entire game. And I think we can just go right into the next clip, because we actually need to go into a few more. And this was still in game number 2, and there at this point you were already quite low from all the solemn judgments, right?
The judgment, yeah. I even had another one, so yeah. Oh.
And there was Joshua packing up because you were actually deck outing him. You win all your games by deck out, right?
Yeah, of course. I won one game in locals with 2 Inspector Border beatdown, but yeah, that basically never happens.
That is perfect. Just never use your battle phase, always deck out. I really like this one. But actually, we're going to speed this up a little bit because I think the entire venue is moving. I think you got your pairings. So we're going to give it over to Ed just real quickly, and we'll be right back.